Welcome to the newest episode of Beyond the Fame with Jason Fraley. I'm your host, Jason Fraley, picking the brains of the top filmmakers, musicians, and artists of our time. Tom Holland expands beyond Spider-Man to star in the new psychological thriller series The Crowded Room, which just dropped episode 4 on Apple TV+. I spoke to 8-year-old Thomas Parabeck of Fairfax, Virginia, who plays the son of Amanda Seyfried in The Crowded Room, and who also played young Johnny in Cobra Kai. Hey, Thomas. Hey, thanks so much for joining us on WTOP in DC.
You're welcome. It's a pleasure.
We're talking to Thomas Parabeck, 8 years old from Fairfax. He's starring in the new TV show on Apple TV Plus called The Crowded Room. It's a thriller. I just started. I guess the first 3 episodes just dropped like last week. So episode 4 will be later this week. So thank you so much again for joining us.
You're welcome.
Okay, awesome. I want to get into the show for a second, but I'm going to try to go a little in order of, of your whole life here. So when did you start acting? Did you just do performances like in your parents' like living room, or did you do like a school play, or what was it for you that started it?
I started since my uncle was a director. I started when I was 5. I sort of just stumbled into it since my uncle was filming something, and he asked me if I wanted to be a part of it. And I said, sure. And then there's this guy named Lyndon Ashby, and he said, and he liked me, so he had a talent agency called The People Store, and he called it, and he said, hey, you could maybe sign up this guy. So his talent agency made me do an audition, and they liked my audition, and then the rest is history, and then I got that talent agency.
Awesome. And what you said? So you said your uncle was a director. So what's your uncle's name, and what was the movie that he was making?
His name, it's called Authentics, I think.
Okay.
And his name is Daniel Stein.
Daniel Stein. Okay. And he was making a movie. You think it was called Authentics? Okay.
Yeah, it's called Authentics.
And who did you play in that movie? What was your role?
I played like a little boy. I played a little boy, and I'm not sure it was about like this person named Haley, and I was only there for a bit, for like about 2 hours or so. Gotcha. And he said to me, like, you want candy or something? And I was like, yeah, sure.
The perks of being on set. Free candy, right?
Yeah, I know.
And was it filming in this area? Like, is he a local filmmaker, or is it out in LA, or where was Hollywood, or what was it?
No, I think it was up in, Georgia area. Yeah, I think it was up in Georgia.
Okay, they make a lot of movies in Georgia now.
I know they do.
Black Panther was filmed in Georgia.
Yeah, especially in Atlanta.
Yeah, exactly. See, you know your stuff.
I know.
Of course, you got all this down. Awesome. Okay, so then that acting in your uncle's movie, you meet different casting agents, and that's how the ball gets rolling with that. Yeah. Okay, gotcha.
That's how I become an actor.
But you didn't have any other acting experience before that.
No,
that was the beginning. Okay.
Yep. That was the beginning.
All right. Great. All right, well then, but we should tell our listeners before The Crowded Room came about, even before that, you were in Cobra Kai. I know. A lot of our fans and listeners probably like that show. So how did you find
one of my most known shows, because I played the young version of the main character, Johnny Lawrence.
Young Johnny, yeah. Who of course was like, like the antagonist that they're fighting against in the original movie, The Karate Kid.
Yeah.
Now, before you found out about that, did you go back and watch The Karate Kid just so you kind of knew what it was about, or did you just go in fresh?
A little bit. I watched The Karate Kid a little bit.
Okay. Gotcha. But did you go back and watch the old movie, like from the 80s? Or
the old movie? No. Oh, my dad is a big fan of The Karate Kid, though.
Yeah, of course, because he probably grew up watching it just like me.
Yeah, so yes, he did.
Oh, yeah. Wax on, wax off. Okay, but you watched it a little bit, and then you got on the set of Cobra Kai. Just any good memories of shooting that? I mean, do you have like a favorite scene that you were a part of?
Oh, yes. Since I was a part of a flashback scene, I remember, since I didn't know who I was. And then I was like, I'm young Johnny Lawrence. That's such a surprise. And my favorite scene is probably my flashback scene where I had to play with like a G.I. Joe or something. And I said, like, the good guy always wins. And
Oh, I love it. GI Joes are the best. Are
Yep.
you kidding me? I had a ton of those as a kid.
And
Um,
also, Johnny, the big Johnny taught me the crane kick.
he taught you the crane kick,
Yes, I know how to do it.
where you on like one foot and then you switch in the middle of
Yep.
the air.
Yep.
Yeah, should we ask you to do it now, or is that going to be dangerous? You might hit the chair.
I may hit this computer.
Well, just don't do the kick, but give us the pose. Just the pose. Yeah. And then you, oh, I love it.
Yeah.
So did you get to, so he taught you the kick. So did you get to meet, what was his name? William Zabka
William
or
Zabka.
even Ralph Macchio as Daniel? Like, did you get to interact with them?
Well, I think I saw Daniel. Yeah, I saw him, but I got to interact with Johnny Lawrence, Hawk, all these people. But I think the only person I didn't get to meet, I mean, I saw him walking for like a split second, but I didn't get to interact with Daniel.
Okay. But you did see him walk by, like when you
I
were
did see him
filming.
walk by, yeah.
Okay, gotcha. And then, of course, sadly, the guy that played Mr. Miyagi, he died many years ago. But if you
Yeah,
ever
he
go back
did.
and watch that movie, you'll love it. I promise. Okay, but it was so Cobra Kai was a great success. And then,
It
did you
was.
come back to school and like were your friends or teachers, were they like all buzzing about it? Like, oh my gosh!
Oh yeah,
we
everybody was
did
like, "Oh my gosh!" And then it sort of settled down. There was a lot of fans, though.
it." That's great. Were there people wanting you to do the famous kick in the class or anything?
In the class, yeah, sorta.
Now, remind us what elementary school? Because I think your mom works there too, right?
Yeah, my mom works there. I go to Mantua.
Mantua Elementary School, and that's in Fairfax.
Yes,
Okay, great. And what grade are you in?
I'm in third, and I think at Friday I do in summer break, and then I turn into a fourth grader.
Wow. So this Friday is that the last day of school?
What? Yeah, that is for
Okay.
third grade.
So last day of third grade, and then you're officially on summer break, heading into fourth grade.
Yep,
And you've accomplished so much already, and you're not
I
even in
know.
fourth grade yet. That's incredible. Okay, well, we've done a lot of the background and Cobra Kai and your uncle's movie and all that stuff, but
Yeah.
let's get into the main thing we're talking about, which is the
The
crowded
crowded
room.
room.
The crowded room. All right. So
Yes.
how do you find out about the audition for that? Is it just people you met through the Cobra
yeah.
Kai, or
Well, the talent agency I told you about,
Yeah.
they got a thing and they sent it to me, and it was an audition, and I did it, and they liked me, so they booked me.
Now, what scene did you have to read for the audition? Was there a certain scene?
It's most of my, yeah. But the audition that I actually had to do was actually a part of the scene. So you actually have to find out. And I had to throw a bunch of temper tantrums.
Okay.
I have to
Okay.
tell you.
Oh, you
that.
have to throw a bunch of temper tantrums. Okay.
Yes.
Now, what do you tap into when you have to, like, do you try to remember of times in real life when you had a temper tantrum? When that chair you're sitting in right now, was that your timeout chair, or
Well, a long time ago, I think I've only had like 2 temper tantrums.
Okay, yeah.
When I was little, I think. So I just sort of memorized from that.
Gotcha. Well, that's good. If you can remember how many, 1, 2, if you can count them on 2 fingers, then that means you're probably pretty well behaved kid.
Yeah.
You're not getting too many tantrums there.
No.
All right. Well, but was it fun? At least like trying to pretend to do a fake tantrum? Like, what do you do? Do you throw your arms around, or do you stomp, or what do you do?
You just had to scream, throw, and everything.
And is this a scene that hasn't aired yet, or is it in the first
No, it
few
hasn't
episodes?
aired. It's yeah, it hasn't aired, so you'll have to find out.
Okay. Now, so I've only watched the first episode. Do you show up in episode 2 or 3?
No, it's that temper tantrum one. I think it's in the 3rd episode.
Okay. And is that where you make your first appearance? Episode 3?
My first appearance is in episode 6.
Okay. Gotcha. So episode 6 is where, all right. So our listeners are going to have to binge the first wait a couple weeks to see their local hometown hero here. So
I know.
Awesome. Well, we should tell everyone that you play Amanda Seyfried's son. She's your mom. So
I know
and she's a big star too. She was
she
in a bunch
is.
of famous stuff. How did you bond with her off screen before you went to shoot? Like, because you need to be able to believe, convince people that you're mother and son.
Okay.
So how did you bond?
Well, before that, I did a few tricks on her, like I did magic tricks in front of her, and we did something called Bean Boozled. Have you ever heard of it?
Explain what that is.
It's basically assorted jelly beans. Some flavors are good, some flavors are not. And
Oh.
Amanda kept getting the bad ones, like rotten egg. But eventually she got marshmallow.
So wait, you pour out, explain a little more. You pour out a bag of jelly beans and you just take turns picking them and not knowing which one
Yep.
you're going to eat?
Yep. And I stayed on the crowded room for not the whole summer. I went on and off through the whole summer.
So when was this? Was this last summer?
Yes.
Okay. And how many days were you there filming?
I was
Like a couple weeks? A couple days?
yeah, a couple weeks.
A couple weeks. Okay.
Maybe like
And
three.
what was it like the first time you met Amanda, to play your mom? Like, was the jelly beans thing right away or was that later on?
That was sort of later on. I sort of met her since I already knew a little bit about her
Hmm.
from the start, like before I even met her in the crowded room or anything like that.
Yeah.
I sort of knew her from the Dropout since she won an Emmy from that.
Yeah.
I
So
knew her from
did
the
you watch
Dropout.
that? Did you watch that show or at least
No, my
clips of
mom.
it?
Yeah, my mom watched it, and I got to even hold the Emmy with her.
Really? So
Yeah.
how did you go to her house or did she have it with her in a trailer or
She
something?
had it with her, like next to the trailer, and I got to hold
Wow.
it with her. It was very heavy, though.
Yeah, I'm sure it probably weighed as much as you do.
I know.
Did you just take and just fall out of the screen? Probably.
Uh, uh,
Oh, and it looked kind of like a tantrum.
I know.
That's great. Well, that's so cool that she let you hold her Emmy trophy.
I know.
That's a big deal. Well, so that's thank you. You've given me some good, insights of
and
Amanda behind the scenes with the jelly beans and the Emmy. But how about on screen? What do you think when you were filming and the lights are on and the camera's on? Like, what do you think makes her such a great actress playing your mom?
Well, she has been through a lot of acting sets, sort of like Tom Holland and me.
Yeah.
And she has a bunch of experience, and she's really so nice and funny, and she's just fabulous. All the crew and the cast were really nice. I got to meet all of them, and it's also really nice to be balanced. She is balanced too. Like have it not just do one whole thing like acting, since if you only do one thing of acting, then you could miss out on some other stuff.
Right. Well-rounded, versatile.
Thank you.
Awesome. Well, you mentioned Tom Holland, of course. He's, the
Yes.
star of this, and
Yes.
and a kind of like a darker mystery
I
crime role
know.
for him compared to Spider-Man. But so were you a fan of Tom Holland's Spider-Man? Had you
Oh,
seen
yes. I
his
watched
stuff?
all the Spider-Man movies. The first time I met him, he asked me what was his favorite Spider-Man movie. Of course, I said No Way Home.
No Way Home was your favorite?
Yeah. And he knew I was lived in Washington, D.C. So he joked about climbing the Washington Monument, even though I knew it was like a green screen or something like that.
You knew, but it was a really cool scene.
Yes.
So wait, No Way Home is your favorite. Is that because all the three different Spider-Mans all show
Yeah.
up together, the multiverse thing?
Yep.
Now, so by the way, so Tom Holland was your Spider-Man, but Tobey Maguire was mine. Like I grew up watching him, and then Andrew Garfield played him, and then by the
Oh,
time for
I
Tom
know.
Holland for you. And so now they're all in the same movie. It kind of blew my mind.
I know.
So
It
did
was
you
just
watch
so weird. Like it was sort of like everybody just got to meet each other through different dimensions, and it was so weird.
Right. On screen, they're meeting each other, but off screen, kind of symbolically, all of us different generations of audiences got to
Yeah.
meet each other too. It was really cool how that happened. Now, did you go back and watch? Have you seen even all of those older Spider-Man or just the Tom Holland ones?
Oh, I saw the older Spider-Mans too.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you know that with great power comes great responsibility.
Yes.
All those famous lines and stuff. Okay. Gotcha. Did you ever want to be Spider-Man? Like, slinging webs? Like, how would you show the camera how you would sling some webs and stuff?
Like this sort of.
Yeah. You almost got me there. Careful.
Yeah, I
Careful.
think for when I was like 5, I was Spider-Man for Halloween.
You were.
Yeah.
Did you ever show a picture to Tom Holland?
No, that was a long time ago. I think that was even before I was an actor. Maybe.
Just a regular Halloween or something, just
Yeah.
a kid being a kid. Well, that's really cool. So, all right. So you get to play Spider-Man, not play Spider-Man. You get to be Spider-Man for a Halloween. So do you have do you have to like pinch yourself? Is it a weird moment? Then you're like, wait a minute, I'm acting in a show with Spider-Man. This is crazy.
It was so weird since like I should have brought my Spider-Man costume.
Yeah. You could have showed him and said, hey, see, I used to do this before you even, Tom.
And my brother couldn't come, sadly.
Yeah.
So Spider-Man was so generous that he even signed a Funko Pop for him.
What did he? Oh, one of the the pop toy
Yeah,
thing?
a signed Funko Pop for free.
Oh, that shows how good of a, person he is that he would
Yeah.
do. That's so cool. Now, why do you think, you're a talented actor yourself. Why do you think Tom Holland was such a good Spider-Man? Is it because he just can play sort of a teenager and he's relatable? He seems like a real kid.
Yeah, we have the same thing and we have something related since he was also a child actor like me.
Yeah.
And since he started from the beginning, ever since he was a child, he probably has a bunch of experiences, like a bunch of experience.
Absolutely. He's very lovable and we want to root for him on screen. Absolutely. Now, I assume you saw him in those Avengers movies too. Like, do you remember when he disappeared, when Thanos snapped and he just disintegrated?
Oh yeah. Was that
Infinity War.
Infinity War, yeah. Was that the last one? I think that was the last one.
It was a 2-parter finale. So Thanos snapped and everyone was disappearing and the audience said, "Oh no." And then the movie ends and everyone was like, "What?" And then they did Avengers Endgame, which was the last one, and they went back in time and brought people back. And then so now we can go on. Tom Holland safe, Spider-Man safe. Well, very cool. Well, then you talked about Tom Holland as Spider-Man. How about him in The Crowded Room? Have you gotten to watch any of it? Like it's a darker role for him.
Yeah. When I was at the red carpet, which was actually a blue carpet, which was sort of weird, I got to watch the first episode of The Crowded Room. And I saw him.
Wow. And what did you think of the first episode?
Oh, it was really good.
Yeah.
Crowded Rooms are pretty good. Actually, really good. Like, up there.
Where was the premiere? Was it Hollywood?
No. It was in New York.
New York. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, that's where Peter Parker's from anyway, so that makes sense.
That makes sense, yeah.
That makes sense. You know what I mean? And closer to you in Fairfax, Virginia. It's on the East Coast.
Easy
to get up there.
Only like 4 hours or 5 hours away.
Yeah, you didn't have to fly across the country. You can just drive up if you want. That's awesome. Well, very cool. So you've only seen the first episode like me then?
Yeah, since it's an adult show.
It is an adult show, exactly. Is that something you have to talk with your parents? Like, how much am I allowed to watch? Can I finish it when I'm older? That kind of thing.
I mean, I bet I could finish it when I'm older.
Yeah. Well, it's a crime show. We got to tell our listeners, if there's adult viewers too, you should check it out. But it's a crime show. It's like a mystery. It's really riveting stuff so far.
I can watch my scenes though.
You can watch your scenes. Oh, okay. Did they send them to you, like where you can like isolate just the scene that you're in and watch it?
When all the episodes come out, I'm probably gonna just skip to see my scenes.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And are you going to be like a tough critic on yourself? Because we're always our own worst critic. Or are you going to be able to kind of try to sit back and just enjoy it as a viewer?
Well, I'm not sure. I'll probably just enjoy my scenes and
I think you should just enjoy it.
It's weird seeing me on The Crowded Room though. It's like I'm just watching TV and on a casual day, and I'm just like, oh, is that me?
Yeah, because it's out now. The first 3 episodes came out last Thursday, I think. Awesome. Well, why should our listeners, if they're listening to this, why should they tune in and watch it? Why just say, give them give them explain why. It's an exciting show. Is it fun? What mysterious? Why should they watch?
It's a mystery thriller. It's a show where it's like in this coming next. It's a cliffhanger. It's a very cliffhanger show. So you should since I can't watch it, all the adult viewers should definitely watch it since it seems really good. Yes. I definitely recommend watching it.
Gotta love those cliffhangers because it makes it seem like you gotta like, all right, I want to watch the next episode, and before you're done, you binge the whole thing.
And we all worked really hard working it.
Yeah, tell me about the directors, because didn't one of them, I believe one of the directors won an Oscar for writing, I think, A Beautiful Mind, Akiva Goldsman.
Oh yeah, Akiva Goldsman. Yes, I know him. So about the directors, Tom Holland was actually one of the directors, I think.
Right, Akiva was one of the showrunners, the creators. Yeah, with Tom.
Akiva Goldsman.
Yeah, but Tom actually directed some episodes.
Oh yeah, Tom Holland. Sorry, Tom Holland's a producer.
Okay.
He was one of the producers and actor, so it must have been really hard for him.
Right, to produce yourself, right?
I know.
Would you want to do anything behind the camera one day, director or produce, or do you right now just focus on acting?
My brother's more, well, it's pretty cool since I'm more of the acting type, and my brother's more of the writing and sort of writing guy.
Right, gotcha. Well, maybe you'll work on something together.
I know.
Would you want him to write something that you can act in?
Yeah, I would want him. He's really good.
Yeah, you should have him write something just for you, you be the star. Well, other than your brother and your uncle that you mentioned, of course, what are your favorite, movies or TV shows? Like, what do you like to watch when you have some downtime?
I'm watching Star Wars right now since the summer I'm going to Disney to go to a Star Wars place called the Galactic Star Cruiser. Cool. And I'm binge watching all of it with my brother.
Okay, so like the old ones, the new ones, everything. You're trying to catch up on
everything, yeah.
Now, that's a good point. It's a good question. My wife and I have this debate all the time. What is the proper order to watch them in? Do you watch them in the order that they came out, because the first one's technically episode 4. So, or do you go back and watch
the machete order?
Oh, explain what that is.
It's basically like, I'm not sure what it is. It's basically an order where you go I think the machete order for Star Wars is you start at 2, then go to 6, then 4. You sort of skip some, I think.
Okay. Well, do you have, regardless of what order you watch it in, do you have a favorite of the Star Wars movies?
Oh, yes. I think I would probably say Empire Strikes Back.
Empire Strikes Back. Everyone says that. And why is
that? Because
Yoda's in it, or because it's Lando, or because it has the big twist, the I am your father at the end?
I'm not sure. It's just because it's so good. Everything really.
Awesome. Okay, so Star Wars is what you like to binge. Do you have any favorite actors that you say, I want to be like that one day? Well, a guy or girl, actor or actress, who do you really admire? And you're not allowed to say Tom Holland or Amanda Seyfried.
Okay.
Someone else. Who do you think? Who do you like? Anybody?
Maybe someone from Stranger Things would really be nice.
Nice. Yeah, like Millie Bobby Brown.
Yeah. Like anybody like that, yeah.
Are they inspirations to you because they started as child actors too?
Yeah. Oh yeah, they did start as child actors. That was one of the I watched all of the Stranger Things and it was really good, and they started as child actors for me, so they sort of gave me a little bit of inspiration.
Yeah. What would you say if the Duffer Brothers, the creators of Stranger Things, said, hey, do you want to be a part of our next season? Would you freak out?
Yes, since it would just be like Cobra Kai. I don't know. It would just pop out of nowhere, just like anything. I would be so surprised.
I think you're going to get cast in a lot of stuff after this. Is there anything? I should ask that. Is there any other projects coming up that you've booked?
There is.
Are we allowed to talk about them?
I just filmed a movie yesterday.
Really?
It's called what was it? Love Dogs.
Love Dogs.
Yeah, it's like a thriller sorta, and I had to dye my hair brown.
Really?
I know.
So what's it about? You said it's a thriller?
Yeah, it's a thriller. I can't tell much about it.
Okay. I just
But
pulled it
there's
up on IMDb. It says Love Dogs is a gripping thriller that follows the life of John, a grieving local man, and he finds solace and intrigue in a mysterious young woman who purchases his old farmhouse. That's all we'll say.
okay. Okay.
I just read that on the screen. I didn't know that.
Oh. And there's
Um,
also a new show coming. Oh, a new yeah, it's called Never Give Up. It's a tennis show, and there's a person named Bradley Mintz, and he's deaf, and I play the young version of him.
you said it's a deaf tennis player?
Yes, named Bradley Mintz. It's based off a true story.
Oh, that's really cool. And we saw the King Richard, the Venus and Serena Williams movie a couple years ago, and now another tennis movie. This is cool. Do you play tennis yourself, or did you have to learn for the role?
Oh, I actually, since I'm a lefty, which is pretty rare, but wait. Okay, never mind.
You're lefty?
I'm a lefty, and I actually since he was right-handed, I had to play tennis with my right hand, so I had to practice a lot. But I'm actually really good. I'm actually probably better with my right hand than my left at some sports.
Really? So you do you write with your left hand and you do other things with
Yes.
your left hand, but for this movie you had to learn tennis with your right hand.
I'm sort of ambidextrous.
Nice. And bonus points for pronouncing ambidextrous right. I probably would have messed that up, but you said it perfectly. You've said it a
Yeah.
million times.
And I also had to wear hearing aids while I was in that movie, and they were so clunky. I promise. They were like this big,
Yeah.
and I had to stuff them in my ear, and they were just
Yeah.
pure plastic. Ugh, it hurted so much.
Well, I admire your commitment to the role to wear those, and it'll be kind of like with Coda. It'll be a really good for hard of hearing and deaf audiences to see a tennis tale like this. This is going to be inspiring.
And it's coming out in theaters.
In theaters. Do you know when? Next couple months or next year? Or?
September 1st.
September. All right. Well, there you go. Thank you. That's a teaser for this fall. But first, everybody, you have to check out Thomas in The Crowded Room on Apple TV Plus. 3 episodes are out now. I think the 4th one drops later this week on Thursday, I think.
Yeah.
So, hey, and thank you for joining us. Anything else anything else you want to say? Here, let's end like this. Pretend that I'm not even here and you're just talking directly to our listeners. Just say, hey, everyone in DC, tune into, The Crowded Room. You won't regret it, or whatever you want to say.
I promise you'll not regret actually watching The Crowded Room. When I first saw that first episode, it was really good. I definitely suggest you watch it and have a good day.
Awesome. Well, we can't wait to see you you said episode 6, right? We can't wait to see you.
Oh yeah, I think episode 3 is the one where I throw a temper tantrum.
Okay.
Wait, I'm in episode 6, 9, and 10.
Okay, so we'll keep a lookout for the temper tantrums, though.
Yeah.
I'm sure you nailed it. I'm sure they're great. I can't wait to see your temper
Thank you.
tantrums. All right. Well, thank you. This was so much fun. I had a blast talking with you. Thanks so much for joining us on WTOP.
Welcome.
All right. Best of luck.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Thanks so much for joining us on Beyond the Fame with Jason Fraley. Remember to hit the subscribe button and give us a 5-star rating if you like what you hear. We'll see you next time.